1492. You fella wanna show. Educated by the Lord. Yeah, we're gonna do this quick little demonstration for the nation. We're gonna do this demonstration for the nation. Woo! Huh? What pictures? Let me see. Let me see. How long it been over? You forgot you had them in there. How did you forget? How did you forget?
Download the damn pictures.
How did you forget those pictures, babe? How did you forget? Peace, everybody. Everybody. Back for our nightcap. Back for our nightcap. Back for our nightcap. Giving this content. So when I'm done, I have a lot of content out in the world because I got some other stuff popping off. As I travel back to my home place of Flint, Michigan. Peace, 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 peace to you, noble Moorish Welch. Peace and love to you. Peace and love. Peace and love. That's all I got for everybody. In this world of hate, I have nothing but love. And a lot of times, a lot of these Moors act like this science is some Crips and Bloods and some gang banging, acting like they can nationalize or denationalize. No one can nationalize you or denationalize you. It'll change you from the descendant nature of your foremothers and your forefathers. And that's a fact that no one can refute. The 1099 is not no trust fund at the end of the rainbow. It's a religious affidavit. That's a fact. I don't care what no old Moor or no line Negro say. And I'm not here to make personal friends. I'm not here to make personal friends because I love myself. And I'm a teacher. I was just sharing with the Empress about how a lot of brothers don't understand supreme wisdom, and if you can help a person and then your skills is limited, you must pass them on to someone else that can help them. And I use the analogy, if you was taking martial arts, say if you were studying whatever art you study. I study Wing Chun. So I study sticky hands. That's what we call it. So I know how to work with my hand, my feet, and weapons. And I know how to work my mind mentally. I know how to strategize. So if you're studying martial arts and say your sensei, your Sufi, all he or she know how to work is his or her feet. And then you meet a brother like myself that know how to work with his feet. Oh, peace, Noble Drayshawn. And you know how to work with your feet and weapons, and you can outthink. A person that wants you to grow will pass you on to that brother that have a higher set of wisdom and not be a hater like, oh, you think you better than me, because I don't think I'm better than no one. That's someone lower self and someone ego. So when brothers come with that wisdom and say, oh, he's this and he's that, no, I'm not, because that's how you feel. Because I'm not here to make friends with grown men. When I was a child, I act like a child. I thought like a child. I may have dressed like a child. But when I became a noble sheep, I put away all childish ways. It's just like if you an athlete and you in high school and your coach is a very disciplined, and he not only care about your athletic ability, he care about you as a young man to say, yeah, you got good basketball skills, but I'm trying to show you how to be a leader, how to be outspoken, how to be a pillar in the community. And then you got some coaches that just don't care about what you do, and it let you half step, and let you be just average, getting a C or barely or almost getting a D and play on their team. That's not me. So when I tell a lot of men, I'm not for you. If you don't want to resurrect yourself in your home and teach your children first and your wife first, instead of trying to tell a whole bunch of people outside of the world what this is about, I'm not for you. You know, I'm not for you. You know, I'm not for you. I gotta just block trolls that just jump on my page and say stuff, Dre Sean. They get on here, they don't have nothing to do but just say things, and I say, man, you should be doing that on your own page. But that's what comes with the territory of social media. So I'm just gonna block everybody, and every time someone says something stupid, it just shows their aptitude. That's all. And it's just like hecklers when you a comedian. Everybody has the right to say what they want on social media, and you can't control that. All I can do is just block people when they speak out of their mouth when no one even talking about that. And I tell people to have your own social media and talk about your political rights or whatever you feel. Do that on your own platform. Don't go out your way to be a troll. Like, that's why I said this world has so much hate that it's just sad that we treat each other like that. Because for me, I never come on somebody's page or platform if I'm not there to learn. I never come on nobody's platform just to be spilling off at the mouth that a lot of trolls do. And I like to address everything. That person too evil to hope. You jumped on here, Trump 2024 or whatever, but you should use your own platform for your own political, whatever you want to talk about. And I tell people, have a little more courtesy of what's going on in the world, but you can't control people that just like that's what their life is all about. They jump on the internet and try to find people that's going live, and they jump on their page and just say whatever the heck that's on their crazy mind. But that shows the aptitude of our people. But you have the right to jump on social media because this is a public platform, and it's on me to just block those individuals. That's all. And these be grown people. When I have my IT guy look them up, because when you jump on somebody social media, you're pinging off a tower. Your cell phone is pinging off at the tower. Just like when people think they're incognito and they do some criminal activities and you pinging off a tower, and all the powers that be and Big Brother, all they do is see what tower you pinging off of. It's like an ISBN number. And then I look a person up. I have the camera right on their house. They might be living in their mama basement, their whole face and everything. So you never incognito on the internet. And I have a lot of friends that work professional jobs. They have a thing called the task force, the internet task force, where anytime you heckling or if you making threats, they'll just pull up the information and they'll come knocking at your door. It's like bullying when you're disrespectful. But with that being said, I just like to get that out the way. I'm going to talk about a little bit of more science. And because I always like to give a little science. But I ask my brothers and sisters to please be respectable. If you're not here to learn, there's no reason for you to be on my platform and disrespecting and spewing off at the mouth. There's no reason. There's no reason for that. And that shows the aptitude. If you have children and a wife, you shouldn't be taking time out your day to be a troll. You should be taking time out your day to love your empress, to teach your children, to resurrect yourself, educate yourself, who you are, not just to be spilling your personal beliefs from hate. Like, that's a waste of time. But it shows the aptitude of a lot of our brothers and sisters in this world. It shows that we have no understanding and we don't have any respect and honor to ourselves. That's all it shows to me. So I want to show something real fast. I'm going to show this chart and then I'm going to get into my teachings. I don't know if you can see the C. Freeman L chart. Good. But this C. Freeman L chart, when I tell all my Mason brothers and I tell everybody that's in the science, you have to be honest when a lot of people take an oath. Initiation is not good because initiation is a part of life. When you go to school and you in elementary school, middle school, high school, to go to those next levels, that's a form of initiation. When you take in martial arts, when you go to the gulps, that's a form of initiation. When you get to a higher wisdom, when you get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctoral degree, that's a form of initiation. If you're playing freshman, JV, or varsity, and then pros, that's a form of initiation because you have to have a certain aptitude and a certain skill set about yourself. And so when I talk about masonry and the European is not the joke of masonry, I tell everybody that because the European would tell you that he or she is a son of a Muslim. And I want to share some things. Like you could pull this up on the internet. I took these teachings and I kind of did my own narrating to this video. This is one of the Scottish Rite European Masons that I know, and you can pull it up on the internet. It's called Remembering Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. But I narrated it on my YouTube channel, and I said that Remembering Noble Drew Ali on his solar return, and you can look it up. You can pull it up on your phone. This is a Scottish Rite Mason. I don't want to say his name because I know him. I know him personally, and he's giving credit to Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. He's giving homage to the prophet Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. When a lot of our own leaders and things act like they don't know who the prophet was, or try to make up a lot of stupid stuff about Noble Drew Ali, say he plagiarized this, but he said he gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. Even Eliseus Levi was nothing but a transcriber in the Aquarian Gospels. A transcriber means that all it did, he wrote down what he already knew and what was told to him. You can also find one on my YouTube channel when Farrakhan is giving credit to Noble Drew Ali on Founders Day. I think it was 2015, when he's told you that Noble Drew Ali is responsible for bringing the Islam about self to the North American Negro. So I'm not here to argue with no one religious perspective, but I know a lot of our people have hidden the truth, and the European didn't, because the European shared it. Even when the European Scottish Rite Mason, he's quoting one of these books called The Arabian Nights inspired the American Dream. And you see the European with the fez on and it say Islam. You see the European with the fez on and it say Islam. You see the European with the fez on saying Islam. You see it. You see it with your own eyes. You don't have to listen to me. And in that book, it talks about the prophet. It talks about why all these figures, Clarence X, Elijah Muhammad, which was Elijah Poole Bay, they knew who the prophet was because I got the documents. I got documents with the Nation of Islam passed out in the 30s and then reissued in the 60s about the Negro, the Indian, the Negro, the Blackamoor is the Indian. And they passed it out to the Nation of Islam. I showed y'all that paperwork. And everything that I'm talking about is in there. It's talking about Noble Drew Ali, everything. And they passed that out to the Nation of Islam. My whole thing is, what happened? What happened? Who's lying to you? Because the European is not lying to you. Because the European will tell you that he or she is a son of a Muslim. Your own brother will tell you that they some widow son. And how can you be a widow son? They won't even explain that to you. Another piece of literature is the America's Oldest Secret, the Talisman of the United States. Mysterious street lines of Washington, D.C. with the compass and the square on it and the pentagram. You know, this is classified, but we have them. So when I lecture, I'm not here to argue with none of my brothers and sisters. I know my brothers and sisters are lost due to a lack of knowledge because they refuse to learn. And they upset because they think this Moorish science is some gang banging, but it's only one prophet. It's only one law. It's only one divine creed and bylaws. Everything else is just fascist groups. So let me just break down a little bit of this C. Freeman L chart, then I'm out of here. Then I'll go to the next topic. I'm sorry. So when you see the Gnosis, when you see the compass and square, when you was a child, what did you have on your pencil, Sean? What? What did they call it? They call it something. They had it on your pencil. It's a compass and a square, and you used it for a certain type of mathematics. You used it for numbers, for things. And I say, I'm giving you a schoolmaster.
It wasn't a compass?
Yeah, it was a compass. Yeah. It was a compass. And that's like when I talk about the circle and the square. The square is the hex alpha, the graduation cap. The circle is your fez, which both have 360 degrees. And when you use your compass, you will know that. They just have different parameter when you do the mathematical equation with pi. It's just what it is. So when you see the Gnosis, when you see the Ma and the sun, that symbolizes the Ma and the sun. When you see Africa, the flesh of God, when you see the symbology, it's almost like 3 hyphens and a little animal figure. You know, when I show you the C. Freeman L chart, all this stuff is symbology. It's all symbology. And the 3 wise men is nothing but the pineal, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary gland. I'm showing you all this symbology represents your body. So when they talk about the 12 disciples and all that, I can teach you about the 12 astrological signs. Another mathematical equation. If you wanna measure the ceiling without getting on a ladder, what do? You measure the ground. Why? Because what's above is below. What's atop have to match the bottom. If you're dealing with architecture, if you're dealing with building, that's just science. No matter how no one feel about it, I'm not here for feelings. I'm a teacher. I teach. If I didn't know what I was talking about, I wouldn't be able to go to to college and get an undergrad and get a master's degree and graduate with honors and speaking the same way. I didn't compromise myself. If I want to fight the beast per se and prove who I am in history, science, and civics, I do it in academia. I don't argue with my brothers and sisters. That's a waste of time. I showed the professors that they on a reading list and it's pseudo academia and the libraries and the scholarship trumps everything. When you know language, when you know the etymology and the etymon, you can use peer-reviewed scholarly research to back your words up. Because a lot of biblical scriptures is written in Koine Greek. You have to know the analogy, the parable, and the symbology. You have to know how the word was written in its original use, and then be able to break it down in all its forms. So, next, when I talk about the Christ, the I am, when you see that crown, which means the anointed mummified, when you see that around the head, and when a lot of times you see Jesus figure and you see the halo over the head, that's a form of symbology, meaning higher self. But when you talk about the wheel, when you talk about the 12 astrological signs or the 12 signs of the zodiac or the 12 disciples, in this context, we're talking about something inside. So we're talking about Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. All of these is inside of you. So in your crown, which is your crown chakra, your skull, right in the front, you have the wheel. Right under that, you have understanding. Right in the back of your crown, you have your imagination, your faith. Right in your ear, you have your zeal. You know how a lot of Hindus, they put the dot on their head? That's an outward appreciation of what's inside. It's the symbology. I don't have to do that. My crown, my fez, and my understanding does that. And my vibration, you know? And so, also, when I deal with also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the so-called 12 astrological signs, in another context of metaphysical aspects. You have the fire, which is the head, the earth, the neck, air, the lungs, the water, the 6 9, the 6 9 coming together. That's your stomach. Fire is your heart. Earth is your intestines. Then you got your air, the water, the fire, the earth, the air, the water. So when I talk about boy, you, God, we talk about, so boy is biological, youth, organisms. Science, I'm talking about your extremities. The YOU, your own universe. That's you. You are your own universe. And God, that's an acronym. And in this context, it's generator, because you are the generator, you are the operator, and you are the destroyer in this context. So when I deal again with the 12 signs or the 12 sons of Jacob, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I showed you Simon is your feet, Reuben is your legs, Benjamin your knees, Joseph your thighs, Dan your genitals, Ezekiel your kidneys, Naphtali, Judah, Zebulun, Levi, Assar, and Gad, and all that symbology of your body, if you know what I'm saying. So when we deal with the circle, in masonry and science, the Mach sun, that's the mother and the son coming together. So you got 360 degrees. 360 degrees is just the sum of material knowledge. 360 degrees is just the sum of material knowledge. That's just base knowledge. But then when you got the circle indented in the circle, that's when you get 720 degrees. And 720 degrees is the sum total of both spiritual and material knowledge. You must master your higher self. You don't cut a part of your lower extremity off. Then you will die. No, there's no reason to do that. You must master your higher self. So when I deal with your heart, and when I deal with the H is the 8, the E is the 5, the A is 1, the R is 9, the T is 2. That equals 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7. I'm always do with numbers and mathematics it gets you back into the 7. So when you get the so-called circle 7 and the so-called indentions in the circle, everyone is born in the circle. And the 7 is perfection on the physical plane. 7 is the perfection on the physical plane. So when I'm dealing with the so-called pentagram, the so-called Star of David, or whatever you want to call it, and you see the Ankh in the middle. This is symbology. When you got the lower and the higher coming together, and you got the Ankh in the middle symbolizing life. So when I talk about the seven laws of the universe, which is the 7 pillars, and it's also synonymous with the 7 lotus, the 7 wheels, or the 7 veils. When I talk about the 7 seals, when I lecture that a plethora of times, the 7 seals, jump on YouTube too, Noble Maso. Jump on YouTube too, my noble. And so when you deal with the 7 seals and also the 7 laws of the universe, so the 7 laws of the universe or the 7 pillars is when I talk about the 7 Kemetic principles. A lot of times connotated as Hermetic, but the Kemetic principles always come first. So the 7 Kemetic principles, like I tell everyone, if you don't understand nothing, you should understand reason and understanding, and we should operate on a principle base. So the 7 Kemetic principles is the world. And so you got mentalism, cause and effect, gender, rhythm, vibration, correspondence, polarity. I broke all of them down in my books. I gathered and compiled almost 20 books of science. Your Mexican friends are not going to tell you this because they think you perverse. But the lower house in Masonry, they study Christianity. And when they get to the higher house, they study Islam. And the password is Assalamu alaikum. You're never going to see my fez and my tassel pinned down. You're never going to see a Freemason wear their fez in the real world. You're never going to see an Eastern Star, which you should be a Star of the East, because they under the DAR, which is the Daughter of American Revolution. And that's where the marriage license came from. It's no disrespect, but I tell my people we should have solidarity. We shouldn't be separating ourselves. We should be able to sit with a teacher and bring us back to our remembrance. Because most Freemasons, you have a potentate, and then they say they believe in the teachings, but the Bible goes against taking an oath. I gave y'all a scripture. What is it? Matthew chapter 5, verse 34. Read it for yourself. Read Matthew chapter 5, verse 34. It's talking about taking no oath. And then read Psalms 133, verse 1 and 3. And it talks about how the Holy Spirit loved brotherhood. It's like oil going down to his beard, to his shirt. We're supposed to have a brotherhood. You're supposed to have a teacher. It's just what it is. And so then when you deal with the 7 lotus, the 7 wheels, you're dealing with the root chakra, the genital, the solar, the heart, the throat, the pineal, the crown, the maladura, the swadhisthana, the manipura, the anatta, the vistudha, the ajna. Remember I talk about the ajna in our Moorish science? The ajna, which is a chakra, your higher self. It's in our exhumed of the nation. It's in our exhumed of the nation, which I call our Bible. If anybody want this, I converted all our books to PDFs, so you don't have to pay all that money Amazon tried to charge you. I'm telling you. And when you read the teachers and then you study and you have a good teacher that can show you this and then break it down, because I don't need the books. I give them to you so you can read them, and then you can start questioning people, because you should question everything that I say. I ain't here just to tell nobody nothing. What I'm here to show you is say study to show yourself approved. That's what I tell you, the study to show yourself approved. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21. Prove all things. Peace, Noble Malik. And so, as I get to the so-called triangle per se, when you see the crown of it, that's the sun child. On the other side, you got the father and the man. Then you have wisdom. Remember I told you Sophia, the Holy Spirit, or the woman? Every time in the Bible, when I be telling my empresses this, a lot of our brothers, why they don't talk about Ruth the Moabitess and Tamar and all that, because they don't want to talk about, they don't understand science. In the Bible, when you talk about Sophia, they always identify Sophia to the feminine aspect, the female counterpart. Remember, man that finds a wife finds a good thing. So that means you find wisdom, because a wife should add value to you. What? Wisdom. She should assist you. She should assist you. It's not here to just for things. When I tell people, oh, I love my wife. Yeah, I hear you. That's cliche. My wife better be rocking with me. I should be able to minister to my wife and teach my wife something. But she can go out and teach the children and her friends and bring them back to the storehouse. So once again, when I'm dealing with the astrological sign for the so-called 12 disciples, which is the 12 astrological signs, Judah is the Pisces, Thaddeus, Matthew, James, Thomas, Nathaniel, Philip, John, Andrew, James, Simon, Peter. It's all the astrological signs. Remember in the biblical scripture, everything that they talked about on the inside, they used something to the common eye. So they talked about things on the outside. They talked about things on the outside. Remember that. No disrespect to no one. I'm just showing you how to see with your eye. Even when I talk about the Sephirots, all my Jewish colleagues, all my European Jewish colleagues know, because I teach the Sephirots. My muftis is on my page. I just gave them all the Jewish text. I broke down the Sephirots, all the stuff that you think Alice Crowley was evil. He just reversed it. All animal figures are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. Even the book by Alicius Levi, Transcendental Magic. I got that book with the Code Volta, with the hand going up and the hand going down. That's called Code Volta. And I break that down in a later teaching. So, once again, you see the so-called double snake. In the medical field, you see that's on all the ambulance. But you never challenged that. You thought that was something scary. That's the chalice. That's what the Baphomet is. Remember, the Baphomet is nothing scary. If I break down Kabbalistically speaking, the Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. Temp, Hobes, Habs, Abba, meaning the temple of David and man, meaning universal science. It's written Kabbalistically. I'm telling you. And when I teach the Gnostic science of the meaning of the Baphomet, you can just do a Google search. But we, as people and lower level people, get you caught up in spookism because they're not initiates of the science. The Knights Templars was you. Baphomet is nothing scary. It's written Kabbalistically. Kabbalistically. Remember that. So, when I deal with man, let me get back to what you see. When you see the wings, when you see Mayat, when you see the double edged wings, to law, to judgment, balance. You want to have balance. That's what I tell everybody. And everything you want in life, I hope you have balance. That's what a good teacher is. I'm not here to make friends with men that's not confidence. I'm not here with men that operate on their feelings, how they feel. 1 week you will be, he's so this. And then when you do something that they don't like, or when you teach them and put them in their place, he ain't this. Oh, well, so what? That means you're soft and you're not a master and you're not an able and you're not a noble. You're not a master, you're not an able, and you're not a noble. So this is it's like the spirit coming up in the medical field. It's the wisdom that's rising to the top. It's all symbology. When I tell my women, the woman is Mayat, the garden that produced food and life. So that's the energy that's rising up the chalice. It's rising up. And that's why in the medical field, what is supposed to be life-saving. This symbology is supposed to be life-saving. This is supposed to save your life. When I tell people, when you see a SOS is something to save your life. I'm giving a schoolmaster. So, more symbology. And also the wings, that's love. When the wings is spread out, it's spreading our wings, spread in love. I'll give another analogy in the biblical scripture. Quiver. When people don't know that word, when it says you are protected in my quiver, meaning when you are around me and I teach you, you are protected in the quiver. It's just like if you were a horseman and you riding a horse and you have your sword on you. You're not just gonna have your sword just on you, it'll cut your leg up. You have to have your sword protected in that quiver. That quiver is a protection per se. Just like the kangaroo in his mother's pouch. That baby kangaroo is protected in his mother's quiver per se. So now, when I talk about your solar plex per se, your solar plex, right here at the bottom is order. As it starts to rise up is wisdom. Your throat chakra should be power. What come out of your mouth, your name should be nature. Should be nature. Right here at the bottom of the solar plex, that's your elimination. As it comes up, that's your strength. As it rises to the top, it should be coming nothing but love. Remember what I'm saying. So when a man, I tell all my nobles, a man is a master, is an able and a noble. Meaning we don't operate in our feelings. You are a master, an able, and a noble. So as I deal with more symbology, when I talk about testament, when I talk about people, you see a preacher say they New Testament preachers. Well, how are you going to be a New Testament preacher without knowing where you come from? You can't be a New Testament preacher without knowing where you come from. So testament, when you break it down, is test the body and menti body, which I say the old becomes the new. You put on the so-called full armor of Christ, the analogy and the parable and the symbology of the biblical scripture. The old becomes the new. The old becomes the new. You don't have to cut a part of yourself off to die. You just must master your higher self. Remember, the pendulum should swing the same way as it does to the left as it does to the right. And you can control that pendulum, and you can have your pendulum go more to the right, to the positive aspect than the negative. Why? Because you control that pendulum. You control that swing of the pendulum. So, next, I already broke down biological youth organism, boy, you, and God. I broke that all the way down. I broke down the three wise men is your pineal gland, your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland. When I talk about Lucifer in the Bible, it's not evil, it's the morning star. I'm giving you Gnostic script. I'm giving you Gnostic scriptures. That's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you Gnostic scriptures. And so the Christ, the I am, is the crown, anointed, when you are mummified per se. So when you're dealing with Egypt and then you're dealing with numerology and numbers, once again, you have Egypt. I'm going to break it back down, and it's going to equal 4 sevens, just like I did the mathematical equation of heart. The H is the 8, the E is the 5, the A is the 1, the R is the 9, the T is the 2. That equals 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7. I'm going to always show you that everyone is born in the circle, and 7 is the perfection of the physical plane. You know? So when I break down that, you got it equals 4 sevens. It equals 4 sevens. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. You got the G is 7, the Y is 7, the P is 7, then the T is 2, and the E is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So what you get? You get 4 sevens. You get 4 sevens. I'm giving you symbology. The lower level black masons in your community are not going to tell you this. Why? Because they took an oath. I'm 99 degrees. I'm your brother. I'm circumscribed in the world. I'm showing you solidarity. 32 degrees in meteorology, that's where water frees up. That's snowman wisdom. Remember, so-called Jesus, Yahshua died at 32, so-called 33. That's no science in masonry. That's snowman wisdom. That's material wisdom. That's material wisdom. So let me proceed. So when you're dealing with the so-called swastika, which that is not swastika, when I go back to the Herb Museum, I'm going to take y'all to the Herb Museum. I did it last year, but I didn't take my nobles when I had my conference out here. But we're going to do it this year. If we don't go to Puerto Rico, everybody's going to come back here, all my muftis, because I got muftis all around the state. And I'm going to take them to the Herb Museum. And even a European will tell you that's not the swastika. Hitler went and stole that from the continent of Africa. That's letting the bad energy out and letting the good energy in. That's an old symbology from ancient times from the continent of Africa. When you watch martial arts movies, because I love martial arts, I'm a martial art head. I told y'all, I study Wing Chun. I teach Wing Chun. We call it sticky hands. So when you watch martial art movies and you see the misnomer swastika on them, that just means that they're orthodox. That means, yes, they know how to work with their hands. Yes, they know how to work with their feet. Yes, they know how to work with weapons. But then they're spiritual too. So when you watch martial arts movies, you will see the orthodox monks. You will see them. You will see them have that on. Even on a lot of my beads, I have that on the bottom of my bead. And all you got to do, if anybody in Arizona, I'll take you to the Herb Museum, and I'll have the courier, the person that be doing all the showing all the monuments and all the pictures and things. He'd be like, well, yes, that man been telling you that. They all know me. So that's the Latin Zenoi star child. So then when you get the square, and I told you the square is nothing but 360 degrees. The circle is nothing but 360 degrees neither. The circle, put a line down it, across in the middle, you got 90, 90, 90, 90. Remember, when you use your compass in elementary, the circle and the square is the hex alpha, which is the graduation cap. They both have 360 degrees, but just different parameter when you know how to use your compass. These are just facts. So, as I proceed, so when you see Hebrew, that's just her web. Remember what I'm saying? Her web. It's her web. When a lot of people, we talk about they Hebrew Israelites, but it's no such thing as a so-called Hebrew Israelite, because the etymology of Hebrew just means part in the water. I don't mean no disrespect to no one. I know a lot of my religious people, they be so gung-ho trying to say this is right, but then when I started dealing with facts and history, even with my Nation of Islam brothers, because they love the little red book, that book that Farah Muhammad said that it was Facts, when you deal with numbers, you can't lie with numbers. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. When you come to me and say this is a mathematical equation, and then I check it like a teacher and I give it back to you and I say this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, you can't get mad. You got to be like, damn, this brother is right. And I'm telling you, a lot of those mathematical equations in the red book that the Nation of Islam give today, brothers and sisters, is just false. No disrespect to no one. And the people that put it out, they know it. They say it's tradition. Tradition doesn't mean it's law and fired. The Quran, the Bible gives that. I'll give you another analogy of what tradition means. Back in the times when our great grandmamas and grandmamas was growing up, and on Thanksgiving, they cut the turkey in half. They cut the turkey in half on so-called Thanksgiving because they didn't have big conventional ovens. They didn't have big pans. Now today, you don't have to cut the turkey in half, empresses. Why? Because you got big conventional ovens. You got big pans. If you're still doing that, that's a tradition. That's not law. It's a tradition. We move past tradition. So, in 1 Kings 7 and 13, when I talk about Haram Abith, the one that built Solomon Temple, the Masons, they're not going to tell you this. When they killed the three Jubes, Jabal, Jablum, and Jublim in your biblical scriptures, just like the three stooges, they the one that killed the Asiatic missionary black man that only had the skills to build Solomon's temple. These is facts. And facts are stubborn, but it's the truth. So, as I go to Islam, because I'm almost done with this, then I get into the readings. So, you got Islam, which is I, self, law, and master. I'm not talking about al-Islam. I'm not talking about something outside yourself. That's not what I'm talking about. I understand it. I understand all the religious rights, all three, because I'm a Sufi. I'm an adapt. So I understand the Paraclete, the Fatimid, and the Jerusalem. I have to be. If I'm in the state of Arizona and I go to all these different religious houses, and when I deal with my real Muslim people, they call me an imam. When I deal with my so-called Jewish people, European Jewish people, they call me Melchizedek and Rabbi. And then when I deal with my Moorish, they call me Sheikh. When I deal with my African culture people that's under the Moradine and Credo Matua, they just call me Master Teacher. It's just what it is. Or they call me Elder. When I deal with my Orishas and my Santeria, when I deal with the spiritual aspect, when I deal with my Orisha and Santeria, it's just what it is. I deal with the spirits. I have to. And I've been educated and anointed and consecrated in these sciences and in these gifts. So let's proceed. So once again, when I talk about God, remember that's an acronym. It's generator, operator, destroyer. You are the generator, you are the operator, you are the destroyer. So when I deal with this other symbology, like here is small, that's the Ma and the sun, that's the Ma sun. When you get the triangle with a line in it, that's the self soul. When you get the compass and a square without a G in it, that's the compass to circumscribe the world, the ruler to measure it. It's the compass to circumscribe the world. And you got the ruler to measure it. If you don't know how to use your compass and a ruler, you ain't a mathematician. You just blobbling at the mouth. So then you got the so-called pentagram, the so-called David star. That's the as above, so below. When I give a Masonic secret, well, it's not a secret because it ain't nothing but an elementary mathematical equation. And if you know archaeology, not archaeology, if you understand how to build things as an architect, when I said, in order to measure the ceiling without getting on a ladder, how would you measure the ceiling? You would measure the floor. Why? Because what's above is below. And what's above have to match what's up top. That's elementary. That's elementary, but they think that's so high. And I'll be like, man, go on with that goofy stuff. You feel me, Empress?
Yeah.
So when I deal with the circle and I deal with the line down and the cross, that's the fear, the earth. That's the fire, earth, air, river, water. That's sustainability. You understand what I'm saying? Sustainability, where without fire, earth, air, river, without none of that, without fire, earth, air, river, aka river is water, we all be gone. So I'm talking about principles once again. When I deal with the Quran is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. It's not no religious book. When you a Sufi and when you a Sheikh, that's knowledge. That's knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, and nature. So if you reading the Quran and you coming with something else and you coming with hate, I know you haven't studied your Moorish Quran. I know it because the Moorish Quran and the Red Book, which is the Silent Brotherhood of the East, which goes with the Moorish Quran, But a lot of these so-called sheiks, they be keeping it separate from their students. Talk about that's adapt wisdom. It ain't all your nobles should be adapts. Adapt is a way to think. You don't want to have no power over nobody. I'm just a map and a guide. All my nobles are divine ministers. Every last one of my nobles. Every last one of my nobles wear the black fez. Their tassel might not be as long as mine because this is my degrees. My tassel is 18 inches. It's getting ready to be 24 in a couple more months. It's just what it is. So you got the square, the so-called crescent, the upside down triangle, the so-called pentagram, and the so-called oval. That's the earth, water, fire, air. What you say, Empress?
Earth, water, fire, air.
Yep. Akasha, or the ether. So I just wanted to break that down real fast. So I got to take this down because I'll get my butt whipped because I'll be having a mess. And so we get into the next part of this demonstration. So I just wanted to take that down real fast. And we're getting ready to get into this next part of this demonstration. If you like the teachings, don't hesitate to give a donation to our temple and school. Cash App, $KGB. I'll email you these charts. I have a full library with over 1 million books. I have my own book company that I converted books to PDFs. It's mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. And I also have my other book company, which is bindedbooks.com, where we print and bind expensive and rare books. So let me put that down. I got to put that back under the bed. See, I'm doing good there. I'm doing good there. So let me put my profit back up.
That ain't what good.
Oh, whatever.
That dude.
All right. So, do he ever study Taoism? Yes. He studied Zoroastrianism too. I study all of it. I study all of it. Zoroastrianism, all the sciences. It's no disrespect to no one. You know, that's why I tell people I'm not here to disrespect no one. I study the tarot cards. I study everything. I'll just speak on certain things. That's why I tell people if somebody wants certain teachings and if they into that science, I welcome them on this platform to teach it. I welcome them to come, you know? So that's what I tell everyone. If you want to study Taoism, teach it, but I teach that selectively. Hold on 1 second. So I just like to do certain things. Like I said, I'm not going to deal with no trolls or nothing. None of that. I just take my time and delete them. That's it. Because I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm not here to debate no one. I tell people, if you want to teach something, teach it on your own platform. You know? I tell people to teach it on their own platform. That's what I tell people. I don't tell nobody. I don't get on here to say I'm a know-it-all. I know what I know. I don't have to be everybody's sheep. I got a group of brothers, you know? Exactly. And then if a person want the whole, I have a whole reading list of Bobby Hemmett, and I have all the books that every lecture that Bobby Hemmett talk about, I have all the books. And I'm not saying it as a know-it-all. I just shared this. Somebody hit me up, a lady that used to study with Bobby Hemmett, and she found me. She was like, brother, she was like, you remind me of the old teachers and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, it's a video with Bobby Hemmett talking right here.
We don't know that there's no such thing as the devil. Good book that shows you how this whole devil thing. This book called Jeffrey Burton Russell, The Devil. And it says, Perceptions in Evil and Antiquity to Primitive Christianity. Jeffrey Burton Russell is called The Devil.
And so the book he's talking about, Jeffrey Burton Russell, I have every one of these books. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just an educator. I have my own library. A lot of stuff that I talk about, people don't have a lot of books. Just like early when I was lecturing, I was showing you books that cost thousands of dollars that I've converted to PDF. So I have these from my brothers and sisters. I have everything. I'm willing to share everything with my brothers and sisters. But a workman is higher. You know what I mean? And when I lecture on a college campus, I get no slander. When I go to other places, when I go to education houses, I get no slander. When I deal with my Europeans that's in metaphysics, I get no slander. None at all. When I deal with my Tasawuf, my Abyssinian people, my Ethiopian people, I get nothing. But every time we get certain people on YouTube that just spew off at the mouth. We study all sciences where I don't gravitate to one science where I miss the rest. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to tell you this is better than that because nothing is better than nothing. Nothing is better than nothing. It's all science, and all science is good if you're a teacher and if you are a student of wisdom. That's all I try to tell my brothers and sisters. As I showed y'all this book right here. As I showed my brothers and sisters this book right here. This book is called How the Arabian Nights Inspired the American Dream, 1790 to 1935. You see the European Mason got the fez on his head with Islam on it. No, the Ouija board not evil. Remember, it's nothing evil. It's your fear. Just like the swastika is nothing evil. You got to, all spirits can be controlled by a God, man. You know, no disrespect to people. That's why I said I'm not here to disrespect no people. It's just like a dog, like Bobby Hemming was said. We fear our own shadow. We fear our own shadow. That's what a lot of us do. We operate on fear and try to tell people, well, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And I'm not here to tell nobody that. Remember, I told y'all one of America's oldest secret is the talisman of the United States. The mysterious street lines of Washington, D.C. is the signature of the invisible brotherhood. This is classified. I have all these books. I teach this in academia on college, and the European know exactly what I'll be talking about. Every time I teach, I get no slander. I get no hate because I don't operate on hate or no fear. When I talk about the feds, when I show signs and symbols, let me read a little something. I'm going to read a little something about Washington, D.C. It's also referred by C.M. Bay as the hub of the universe, which is the North Gate. And the following photos were taken inside of George Washington National Memorial Museum in Alexandria, Virginia. And in this room is encased a fez bearing the name Ben Bay, whom C.M. Bay taught us it was a true name of Benjamin Banneker. And there are also other fezes encased here with names such as Khalif, which means ruler or king in Arab, Kashan, Bandar, Baya, etc., Islam, Mecca. And when you see the European Mason, they have it all on their fez when they wear it in secrecy. You see? You see what I'm saying? And when you see the Black Prince Hall Masons, they have it all on their fez too. And they'll go around and talk about they a widow's son. But how can you be a widow's son? You a son of a Muslim. You a son of a Muslim. The European will tell you that. So I don't want to stay too far in this teaching. I just want to jump around a little bit. When I talk about Moorish science and how to solve riddles and things, you know, it's there for you. And I have all the books and everything for you. And then I teach it to you. Remember Hitler's Nazis, they wore the fez. And Hitler studied and understood Moorish science. And he was well aware of the fez and its significance. Look, that's one of Hitler's regiments. Look at them Europeans studying Al-Islam. I told you, the Ku Klux Klan studied the Quran. It's the Quran with an L in it. I told you, I got my undergrad from Clear University, which is in Howell, Michigan. And I remember one day I got pulled over by a sheriff, and he was the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. But then when he saw my brotherhood on there, when he saw my Moorish right on there with the 7 in it, he jumped out and his light was let out. When I say light let out, he identified himself to me. You know, he identified himself to me. And so the fez is significant. You know, I don't have too much time to indulge on it. I talk a little bit of the history of the fez, but I've done that in so many lectures. I talked about it in my books. You know, one of my books I gathered and compiled and divinely prepared the esoteric science of the fez, where I speak about the fez. Clearly, it'll be too long to go about the fez and talk about the fez, you know. No, you said the Grand Wizard and the sheriff got to be a conflict of interest. No, it's not. No, it's not. They under the Quran. That's why I tell people, I was like, listen, they are a brotherhood. They ain't my brotherhood, but Everything that comes from Europeans, even when you see the Ku Klux Klan, they got all that stuff from the Moors in Spain. Pull it up. It's in J.A. Rogers' book. 101 questions about the black. Where I have that book somewhere else. Nothing about them is original. Nothing about them is original. So I'm just here as a teacher. You know, they under the Quran, the KLO. Let me show you. I think I got the Quran over here. Hold on. I probably can't even find the Quran.
Flora.
Yeah. It's the Ku Klux Klan Quran.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where it's over here somewhere. It'll take. Oh, this might be it right here. No, that ain't it. It's just a little book. And,
It's a small book.
no, it's a wide book. This is right here. No, that ain't it. Ah. It's the Quran. You know? And even when they talk about the mystic, the silent brotherhood of the East, the nobles of the mystic shrine, where the Europeans talk about that's who they are. And when you look at their books, it's only 1914. And when I show you our paperwork about the nobles of the mystic shrine, that was started almost 1,000 years before the Europeans ever knew anything about it. And it's just what it is. I don't hide nothing from no one. You know? You say, why is it a Quran and the Quran? This stuff confusing. Thought it was only one Muslim Bible. Well, that's because when I tell people, we don't get paid to think. We get paid to know. And a lot of our own people just hide stuff from us. No disrespect. I told you I got documents that was passed out to the Nation of Islam in the 30s and the 60s. Everything that I'm talking about. When all them Nation of Islam, they wore the fez and they passed out ID cards in Detroit and Chicago. I got the documents. I show it a plethora of times. So I'm not here to debate no one. I just say, okay, now go ask the leaders. Go ask these leaders in these organizations. And why was stuff hidden? When I show old documents that the Nation of Islam had, when they passed out ID cards saying that they Moors, and then they stopped doing things. And you see Elijah Pooh Bay with the fez on, and they knew about Noble Drew Ali and all this. That's for people to ask their so-called religion, you know? No disrespect to no one, you know? No disrespect from no one. I come to give no disrespect to no one. That's not my mission. I'm here to spread light, you know, that's all. And show people what people hide from us. And show people be like, well, wait a minute, how did that happen? Because our own kind got us with that black stuff. When I show real documents, I'm gonna show one more document, then I'm gonna finish up and I'm out of here. Found it. Stop laughing at me, man. Okay. So you see this right here? See a lot of our brothers that's took an oath to not tell you the truth. They take things from, no disrespect again, no disrespect, from European potentates. So this is the secret ritual of the secret work of the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine. The Imperial Grand Council of the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine by Dr. B.H. Stillworth. Only 33 degrees. I told you, in meteorology, that's when water freezes. Jesus, Yahshua, died at 33. That's no wisdom. I'll break all that science down at a later teaching. You know? So, July, look at the date. The date say July. The date say July 1914. Okay. Okay, I'll give you that. Now, this is what the Nation of Islam had. This is what all of the original Nation of Islam had. Let me read something to you. It said, written and sent to all students in the ministry of Islam in the wilderness of North America by Elijah Muhammad, servant of Allah, dated 4/2/1936. And then it was reissued January 18th, 1963. Okay. Okay. And then when I show you the red book that Fard Muhammad got, and they talk about those teachings, and then we went through that because I teach imams from no biasness. And when we deal with all that stuff that they say is facts, and that stuff can be destroyed in 1.2 seconds by an elementary student when I talk about tradition. So if that's the case, look who you see here. This was given to the Nation of Islam in the 30s and the 60s. That's Elijah Poole Bey with the fez on. That's Elijah Poole Bey with his fez on his head. Clear as day. Clear as day. And then you can go on YouTube and on my page and pull up Founders Day where Farrakhan gave credit to Noble Drew Ali. And then you get that old brother. Everybody say that's Elijah Muhammad's brother, talking about the first time he ever saw the fez was with Fard Muhammad. But then he contradicts himself because he say that his sister-in-law brother was part of the Moorish Science Temple, and that's the first time he saw a fez without no defilement on it. I'm telling you, it ain't no disrespect to nobody, because the early years of the Nation of Islam saw the continuance of similar nationalizing processes that the Moorish Science Temple of America had initiated, making members officially not subject 14th Amendment subject citizens of the United States, but members, citizens of the Nation of Islam under the status of Muslim. And then and this is one of the 25,000 ID cards given out by Fard Muhammad in Detroit and Chicago from 1930 to 1934 for registered Muslims. Where you think he got this from? Where you think Fard Muhammad got this from? I'm not going to argue with a lot of the Al-Islam brothers that be always talking about that ain't Fard Muhammad and all this. I said, I ain't finna deal with no fictitious people. I know who my people are. And then when I show them this, and then they say, well, that ain't Fard Muhammad in the background. Well, who is it? Because the pictures that they show, he looked totally different. And this brother looked like the picture that they try to identify, saying it's Fard Muhammad. The brother in the back of this picture right there, that they say is David Ford. And I don't be here to argue with no religious person. That's not my mission. That's not my mission. My mission is to show people that they knew about Noble Drew Ali. They knew, because this picture right here that they say is not Fard Muhammad, this picture right here that they say is not Fard Muhammad, sure look different than the other David Ford alias right here. They look totally different. And if you have the paperwork, you'll be able to look at it for yourself. You'll be like, okay, well, if you say this person is not Fard Muhammad, then who is this other person? And then they know what I'm talking about. Let me break down a little bit of science, and then I'll show you the dates. Remember, I showed you what the Black Masons and the Scottish Rite, 1914. Now watch this. Watch this. You know he went under the alias of David Ford. We know that. But here, cited in our Moorish literature pamphlet of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this man is presented in his literature as teaching our prophet Noble Drew Ali on the ancient architecture of the Moors and its Egyptian origin. This same David Ford, according to historical witnesses, was requested by our prophet Noble Drew Ali to sit over the Moorish Science Temple of America as a helping guide to maintain order while Noble Drew Ali was dealing with law enforcement issues in respect to the death of Claude Green, a former Temple member. That tea is good. In October of 1928, this same David Ford is pictured at a convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated in an interview with Buzz Anderson in 1971 that he was never taught what the D stood for in his name of his teacher, W.D. Fard. W.D. Fard. This was one of the names that the master W.D. Fard went by. You know? Well, and the person say that Elijah Muhammad stole the game from Drew, packaged it up, and used it for profit. Yes, But they listen. No disrespect to these my Al Islam brothers neither. If they talk that stuff, the white man is the devil. Well, why? No disrespect again. Why Farrakhan would tell you that he practiced Dianetics? That and I know a lot of Muslims they went and got trained in Dianetics from Ron L. Hubbard. I know this for a fact. See, the European will always tell on Negroes. They'll always tell. And I don't mean no disrespect to no one. I know hundreds and hundreds of Nation of Islam Muslims that's trained in Dianetics. And if they get over here talking that crap, I'll pull out the documents. Hell, Farrakhan is a 32 and 33 degree Freemason. He know I know. I got all they charter. It ain't no disrespect to no one. It's just what it is. It's no disrespect. I'm not here to disrespect no one. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Our own people did this. No European Albion or Trailerite has the power to put you in bondage. Why? Because you can see that coming. It's just like Patrice Lumumba in the Congo when he was destroyed by his own people. It's just like the so-called Big Six that sold you out for 250 grand to keep you with that Negro black stuff. It ain't no disrespect to nobody. It's the same man, David Ford, that is witnessed in 1929 Moorish Science Annual National Convention saying he would bring America to his knees for the death of Noble Drew Ali. And now, remember what I'm saying, the European Masons, the Black Masons, the Prince Hall, this is what they study. Okay, and they say that they some nobles of the Mystic Shrine. This say July 1940. Okay, so I'm about to read this picture. Look at this picture. Look at all them different adepts, all them different brothers with their national headdresses on from all the different regions over the world. Look at them adepts. When somebody try to tell you that they got some power over you, look at all these different adepts. When they be acting like they don't know what I'm talking about. You know, it's all public information. It's chartered public information. Yes, I'll give you another analogy. It's just like when you want to get your records from a university that you graduated from. You can pay a certain fee for the stamp one or just the basic ones. Just like when I talk about the CCRD, the County of Recorder of Deeds, when those Love L talk about the 1099 is some trust fund at the end of the rainbow. And I told people it's nothing but a religious affidavit. I share it all with everybody. What I do with the paperwork from the CCRD, the County of Recorder of Deeds. I put it somewhere else. I told everybody I share everything. It's public information. Everything about the Moorish Science Temple is public information. Even I got the book, our book, that show you how the temple was set up with the affidavit and all that. How the temple was set up. I shared. I done lectured this a plethora of time. That's why I'm not here to make no friends with a person that tell you they can nationalize you and denationalize you. I'm not here to argue with none of my brothers and sisters. So, Master Fire Muhammad, under the alias David Ford, pictured in the upper left-hand corner. There are many Masons shown in this picture. The development of the Moorish Science Temple of America saw the influence of many high-degree Black Shriners, Masons, secret societies, particularly the ancient Egyptian Arabic order of nobles of the Mystic Shrine. But I thought the European and the Negroes that's dead say they're the ancient nobles of the Mystic Shrine in 1914. But watch this. It was started by Noble Ali Rofelt Pasha and John George Jones in 1893. In 1893. So who's brought it to you? 1893. These secret societies played a major role in the events during the late 20s and 30s in governmental changes in America and have great importance to the events happening presently in respect to the subject of reparations. It's in your Moorish literature pamphlet, The Industrious Acts of Muslims, page 17 by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Interviews with Anderson L. of Baltimore, done by Carl Evans. And the Nation of Islam, they have this. The Nation of Islam passed this out to all the members. They passed it out in 1936 and then reissued it in 1963. A lot of the old elders have this. I deal with old elders. I don't deal with these young brothers that just arguing, acting like some sovereign citizens, and just acting like there's some Crips and Bloods. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with that. I'm not even wasting my time dealing with that. Oh, I'm on good time. So I'm gonna give you a little bit more science. So additional questions on the Prophet, Moors and Masonry, and Muslims and Asiatics. What was the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali's mission? And this was asked to me as I was doing my dissertation in college about Moorish science. It's a European named Spencer Dew. He wrote a book called The Aliyhites. It's another European named Peter Moon. That's his pen name. He wrote a book called Spandu Mysteries. There's so many European people that wrote about our prophet. When did the grace period start? 1913. When did it end? 2001 CE. How did our prophet travel? By his compass and his square. The same way I travel, by my compass and his square. Then a person asked me to explain. It's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 5, starting at what? Verse 11. He used the compass to keep all his carnal desires under control, picked up the square to straighten out all the crooked places of fallen humanity, to make the corners of our conduct square. How did our prophet travel? How do I travel? Through the Masonic order until I became a noble, then enter Islam. Not no Freemasonry, Masonic order. It's an order. Why do you think this science and the feds, why do you think Masons were the feds? Why do you think all the Europeans were the feds and clandestine? And your so-called brother, your uncle, your dad, he were the feds and clandestine. And the only time you're going to see the feds is when he died. Why you think the Daughters of American Revolution, our misnomer black women under the Eastern Stars, why you think you'll never see them with they white feds with the gold tassel wearing it in public? Because it's secret to them. Why you think they tassel is pinned down? Because their wisdom don't flow freely. Ask them. Why? And then when you look at their feds don't have circles on it. It have pentagrams. All you gotta do is look at it. And their feds is a little shorter. Don't you know the Liberty Bell turned inside out is the feds? The Liberty Bell. Under the Liberty Bell, you have Leviticus 25 and 10. I hope you should get familiar with Leviticus 25 and 10. How did our prophet travel? Through the Masonic order until he became a noble, then enter Islam. Who represent Islam in the West? Our prophet. Did our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali enter the shrine? Yes, he did enter Islam that way. I entered the shrine. I'm not a Shriner. It's being initiated into the wisdom. I'll be transparent. It's wisdom. You're not just gonna all of a sudden have knowledge, you know? I'm gonna break it down. I broke it down in a plethora of lectures, so I'm trying to stay on topic. I broke it down a plethora of times. No disrespect, but I'm just trying to stay on topic because I got to get out of here. I do it in another teaching, Bash Brothers RC. It's a big difference. I'll give a little introduction of it before I end. Does this mean Moorish Americans should seek to become Masons and Shriners? No, it's no reason. And then they ask me why. It's no reason or it's any need for this because our prophet, me as a prophet in the flesh, in your one-on-ones, a prophet and an angel is clothed in the flesh that come and give you a divine message and a warning. It was plenty prophets and angels. It ain't no last prophet of Allah. If you were more a prophet and an angel is clothed in the flesh. Point blank. But it's no need because the prophet gave you 32 and 33 degrees where? In your divine instruction, number 2. When the prophet, and when I placed the tarba and the mithra, which is the turban, on your kapta, which is your crown. And that's when I give you the science. Who amongst the highest realm enter al-Islam by practice? Masons. What degree? 32 degrees. What's the secret password? Your black brothers, your misnumbered black brother Mason ain't gonna tell you, but they'll tell you when they get to the higher house, they practice al-Islam. And the secret password is assalamu alaikum. And that's when the Mason bows to his knees to Islam, proclaiming that Allah is God, becoming a practiced Muslim. But they ain't gonna tell you that because they left Christianity to practice their religion other than that of their forefathers' religion while still living in a Christian country. No disrespect to no one. What exactly is Islam religion that Masons proclaim and practice? The names, the issues, the principles of Arabian mixed with a select version of faith of the Qurayshite, the Moor, the Muhammad. You know? It's just what it is. No disrespect to no one. Is the Arabian Islam our religion? No. Our religion is Islamism. Know thyself. What is Islamism? It's the religion of our forefathers. Then they ask me, how does it differ from al-Islam? Because Islamism is the universal law in harmony with self, resulting in peace, the science and study of self-mastery, that Allah and man are one. Al-Islam being the Arabic for peace, which was perfected by Muhammad into the Quraysh and the Arab, and since, unlike Islamism that our prophet Noble Drew Ali brought, that I bring to us Moorish Americans, it's been viewed by the world, much like catechism. And the premise is to serve a God which exists outside of ourselves. You know? No disrespect to no one. That's when I say to up secure. It means to know thyself. I'll give a little bit more. Can a Moorish American be a Mason also? If you have a good sheik like myself and others, no. Not a true and faithful Moorish American. When people say they want to be a Freemason, clearly you're not listening to me. Why? That's to me, that's blasphemy, that's disrespect. Here it is, I'm a sheik and I confer degrees, and somebody want to go into a lower house and become a 32 and 33 degree snowman. And in meteorology, I told you that's where water freeze. That's what water freeze. Research Deuce Muhammad Ali. Research Abdul Hamid Solomon. Research this. When I tell people, I'm not here to argue with no one. Just being a Moor is just my pedigree. I'm on the degrees and wisdom. I'm on the degrees and wisdom. You know, that's what I'm under. That's what I'm under. That's why I said I'm giving all this because I'm about to be gone in a minute. So nobody can say I didn't do this when I go and travel, when I be done with this, you know, and people can't say, man, I gave everybody opportunity to support. When all my movies be going with me and we have our own thing, when I go back to my city of Flint, Michigan, and I show a lot of what I'm doing, when I talk about the Moorish Science Temple in my city of Flint, when I buy the building, because the Moorish Science Temple in my city of Flint is abandoned. Because the Moorish Science Temple of America in my city of Flint, Michigan is abandoned. Nobody's going to be able to say, I didn't do this. I didn't jump on here and teach for free and ask for small donations. I don't tell nobody to pay me. But now I'm starting to get paid and go teach abroad to teach this to those that feel it's important. And I'm gonna be done doing this. You know, no disrespect to no one. And like one of my professors said, your people should feel what you're saying because there's other things that you can do for money. This don't bring no money to me. I could be on here teaching business and teaching people how to set up their companies, teaching about buying real estate, teaching people about the stock market, which I know how to do because I'm educated in it. But I don't do that because I'm not going to jump on here and try to tell someone that don't have no money to invest in something and don't know the assumption of risk. And anytime that you're invested in something, I don't care if you're on the block selling work, you have an assumption of risk. I'm not here to do that to a person that's on welfare. Pay your bills. And that's why I ask for small donations. That's why I have a whole library with over 1 million books and documents. And I tell a person, look how much it costs on Amazon. I'll give it to you for a donation. Just like earlier, I showed all those books that came to about $3,000. And I said, I'll let people get those 5 books for $25 each. And the only people that got those books was the college students that I have on my laptop in the mornings. All 30 of those college students got the books. And they didn't put their money together and try to say, well, we want them all. They all donated. So it's no disrespect to no one. Can I expound on the science of the shrining being labeled the joke of masonry? It takes you into the history of the Moorish and the Moorish dance. When a lot of people ask me, what is the Moorish dance? It's the dance borrowed from the Moors, and more accurately, an imitation of our dance. Who adopted or borrowed the dance? Many groups from throughout Europe. When you go to the Netherlands, Swarty Piet or Black Pete, when you see the Corsica flag with the Moor with the bandana. The so-called Middle East, India, the parts of Central and South America, you know, they are lacking necessary elements. So I want to stay all that. I'll give another little bit because I'm on good time. So what form of Islam do Moors study? Do we adhere to? Sufi. What is the Sufi teachings? Islamism, that man and Allah are one. How is this proven? By your Holy Quran. What surah, what verse? Surah 2, verse 31 and 34. Who built the holy city of Mecca? The Moabites. Where is the true city of Mecca? On the land of the ancient Moorish, the Moabite and the Canaanites. On what landmass is the holy city of Mecca? These was questions that was asked to me. North America on a 42nd parallel. Mecca is where the prophet is. How do we know this to be true? Because I told you in question 15, where's the holy city of Mecca? It reads, it's also read in your Holy Quran, circle 7. It's also read in your Holy Quran, circle 7. What other evidence do I have? You got to consider who and by what names throughout the Moorish astrological account, who the ancient Canaanites were. What are some of the names? Phoenicium, Poenicium. What does Phoenicium mean? It means Carthaginian. It means Phoenician. What period was this? Between 1801 and 146 BC. Where? The ancient Moorish kingdom of Carthage. What is the modern name of this kingdom? Tunis. What document evidence can I offer to show that the Carthaginian, Canaanite, America, Mecca connection? By deed. What is a deed? The deed of ancient Canaanite, Carthaginian Sufite Hanno Bey, third generation of Empress Elis Bey, daughter of King Muda I and great-grandfather of Gualanum. Mosari, General Hannibal or Hannibay, is the ancient document by express epigraphical proclamation inscribed on the Bourne Stone, found at Cosmokunanit at Cape Cod Bay, New England, Massachusetts. It documents in the Bourne Historical Society. What does the deed proclaim? Or what is the deed, the proclamation? It described in terms of metes and bounds, the possessions and annexations of the Americas to the Iberian Peninsula, Carthage, Tunis. When you have people talking about some Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki was false history from a European named Harold Colander. Research a European named Harold Colander. Man, he didn't have no education in that. All his European colleagues told him that. When I brought all my movies out here, I took them to a Greek restaurant, and all the pictures on the wall, I said, "Who is that?" They was laughing. All my Russian friends, they're like, "Well, that's you, the Moor, the Iberian." He have on the fez, his braids, his sash, his tunic, cotton or silk, with his sword and his sandals. It's not no aliens, but that's what they always try to do, say some aliens. No, it's the Iberian. Facts are stubborn but true. Marrakesh, Numidia, Utica, being those same possessions of Northeast, Southwest Africa, including North, Central, and South America, Mexico, and the Atlantis Islands. Where else is it documented? And is there any certified, tangible evidence, legal documents of title to the American lands? Yes. The Moorish American Society of Comprehensive Science, which is the National Legation, Department of State Bureau of Administration, and Library of Congress. How is it documented? Okay, evidence by proclamation and sovereign trust for Moorish Americans, so written in the pages of the consecrated talisman. Recorded as a legal document in the Library of Congress, as certified registration number capital TXU -123-633, and control catalog number 71-330-6977, in parentheses U-2, the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs and Border Protections, at recordation number capital COP 04-00062, control number 476030 and 3, the Department of State Bureau of Administration, at capital B, capital P 232, capital U73, the Great Geodetic Survey, the Book of Blood and Deeds. Research a Book of Blood and Deeds. You know, so what language was Hanno Bey proclamation written before its English translation and transliteration? North Semitic Iberian Moorish Punic script, which was later form of the ancient Moabite characters. So I'll give a little bit more. We'll proceed. We on great time. Okay, brother, I answer that. Did I study Dr. York? Remember, I respect all the laws and the prophets. I don't gravitate to one science where we miss the rest. Dr. York was a Moor. He told you he was a Moor, just like Khalid Muhammad told you he was a Moor, and he told you out of his mouth. All his documents, Dr. York, what he did, he just implemented himself in things. I have all his books. I don't disrespect no man. I don't disrespect no one in part of history that study. I know about the Nuwabians, but a lot of our brothers that's under different houses of spirituality, they act like Crips and Bloods, like this is better than that, instead of bringing everybody to the storehouse in solidarity. But I understand, Dr. York. I understand all that. I understand Yahweh being Yahweh before he got absolute power. He wrote a lot of books that was prophetic. I got all his books, but I have all Dr. York books, all of them. And all of it is ancient Egyptian history. It's just written in modern terms. No disrespect to no one. I don't disrespect man. I deal with the wisdom. That's why I said I have no respect for no man. I deal with the wisdom, and we can agree to disagree. But when I start breaking down the books and the science in the books, it's going to all revert back to Moorish science. And Dr. York could tell you that. You know, no disrespect. So can I expound on it? Document applies when I talk about the Book of Belimont. The Book of Belimont is an ancient, archaic, and rare manuscript housed in the libraries of the bishops of the Roman Catholic. You know, when I have all these books, when I tell you a lot of stuff is wrapped up in Catholic stuff. So I don't diss no one. I don't diss Dr. York or no one, because all his books is Kemetic history. It talk about the Book of the Dead, All those things he talk about, it's just written in a certain way, and he implemented himself in a lot of books. It's no disrespect, no disrespect, but a lot of these books is wrapped up in the Catholic church houses. The information on the ancient Ogham writing. It's another ancient book I got. It's called the Ogham writing. And I also got the book of Bailimont, and I also got the book of Bailimont. So I just wanted to talk about that little bit, and our prophet bring love. What is love? That which creates, that which destroys, and that which saves. What is our prophet to us? An angel. What kind of angel? A cherubim. Who was Moses? The real son of Pharaohs. What was his nationality? Moorish Egyptian. What was his crime? Adopting the faith of the Hebrews. What did Moses do? Reject the idea, gods of Egypt. No disrespect to no one. Remember, you got to understand what event took place. Moses became an outcast amongst his father's house, killed an Egyptian, fled into the land of Moab. What else took place? Remember, he met a sheik who practiced the faith of Abraham, Lot, Moab, and Ishmael. What did Moses discover? Himself. Who was Aaron to Moses? He was his prophet. So I just wanted to give that little bit because I got so much more to break down. I just don't want to stay in one house. Because I got a couple more. But if anybody want to know a little bit more information on the feds and the specifics on the feds and what it pertained to, one of my books that I gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, it breaks it down. And I give y'all these books for small donations. I've gathered and compiled over, like I said, 20 books of history, science, so-called African-American history, which is ancient history. The fez originated in Fez, Morocco. And so the red fez symbolizes the supreme pinnacle of the applicable wisdom. This original form is still worn in Tunisia, Tripoli, Morocco. In 1826, Sultan Muhammad II of the Ottoman Empire was looking to break the tradition. So the fez has always, been a high distinction. In history, the fez was represented only by chiefs and captains who wore the fez. The black fez was worn by the muftis, protectors. From 1913 to 1996, the Moorish Americans used to wear the fez every day. You will see them on the streets, in courts, on trains, certain jobs. We can give thanks to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and even CM Bay in a context for bringing that law in that context. Moorish, do you know that the graduation cap and the fez represents 360 degrees of knowledge, and the tassel represents Sophia, which is wisdom, because wisdom was always identified to the woman. The wisdom that flows freely and not pinned down, which you see all Masons, they tassel is pinned down. When earning any form of education pertaining to a degree, which is the hex alpha, the dual triad is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish fez. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated schools of the universe, which is her womb. And the fez symbolizes her womb, aka supreme mathematics, aka African Mayat magic, aka 9 to the ninth power of 9. 9 to the ninth power of 9. Yep, I got a whole bunch of those books. I have a full library. That's like I said, I have a full library. I have a whole book. I have 1 million books and documents. This is no, like I'm trying to act like I'm all that, but Google spent $25 million doing what I did in college. That's what part of my studies. That's my empress will tell you. I used to stay on campus converting books to PDF for hours. I used to go to all the doctoral libraries. And then when I got introduced to the Royal Archives library, then when I got used to the Library of Congress, and then when I got introduced to the Philosophical Research Society, where they have a plethora of information that the average individual, the average Mason is not going to have, then the floodgates just went through the roof. But the black fez is the highest degree. It's worn by the Mufti, the Moorish United Fronts of Islam, enforcement and security. The one who wears it symbolizes that he or she knows law in full and is able to defend it, including knowledge of martial arts, defense physically and spiritually, likened to the martial arts degrees of the black belt. The fez is worn as a symbol of the womb. The top of it has a nipple. It has a nipple shape that symbolizes the navel. The strands of the tassel is 360 degrees. 360 degrees of knowledge. Our tassel is not pinned down, and it is no secret society. Properly free-flowing tassel is indicative of the one who is born of the womb, endowed with and aspiring to be beyond 360 degrees of knowledge. We navigate upon the earth, and our potential is not limited, not pinned down or kept secret. However, it's sacred. The 4 sets of air holes in my fez, the 4 sets of air holes are equal to the number of the womb, which is 9, and add up to 13, the number of times a woman cycles per year, which is in tune with the cycle of the moon. So I just want to stop right there. The fez headdress of the Asiatic nation of North, South, and America. Then you got the fez comes in red with indigo black tassel. The fez is the headdress of the ancient ones. It's geometrically formed to represent the eternal zodiac. The body at the fez symbolizes the womb and the cosmos and the woman. Mother, the 1-inch finale extending out of the center of the fez is the number 1. And the 9th letter receiving a degree. The 9th letter receiving a degree, which is the fez, which is the hex alpha. The dual trine is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish fez. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated school of the universe, which is her womb. Which is her womb. The fez symbolizes her womb. In the phonetic Moorish alphabet, the I also symbolizes the navel, the eye. The cord extending from the eye symbolizes the universal umbilical cord of universal life and represents the oneness of life. It also represents the tie to the source of humanity, Zodiacus, the first woman. This round circular ball of the tassel represents the mundane circle or the earth. The cord wrapped around the tassel strands hold the form of the circle. A red represents the unity of life through the zodiac constitution of humanity. It also represents the cycle and that nature of life. The strands of the tassel represent 360 degrees of the zodiac. The highest law, a real authority in civilization. The zodiac crown of light, the national headdress of our mothers and fathers of human family. The founders of civilization and masters of the cosmos, science, third, 33, and 360 degree master masons and eastern stars. So I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there with that part. I got more documents when a lot of people be talking about Adam Blavatsky and all that. And when I say I don't attach myself to any particular creed exclusively so that you may disbelieve all the rest, otherwise you will miss much that is good. Indeed, you will fail to see the real truth. God, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you want to say, the omnipotent and the omnipresent is not contained by any one creed. For he said in the Quran, wherever you turn, there is the face of Allah. That's Sufi Grandmaster Ibn Arabi. No, I don't have time for that right now, Noble. No disrespect. I don't have time. Please stay in context. I'll do that another time. Please. No disrespect, Noble. Please. Please, man. Please stay in context. Please. I'm doing a specific topic, Noble. No disrespect. But you keep asking me, can I do this, do that? I'm doing a dissertation on something specific. No disrespect. No disrespect. I done touched everything. I done touched everything you asked me on other lectures that I did a plethora of times. If you go through all the lectures I've done on here, everything that you asked me, I already did. So no disrespect to you, brother, with all love and respect and honor. Please, let's stay in context, please. Please. The mysticism or esotericism called in Arabic tasawwuf of Islam is today identified with the Sufis, a word commonly thought to come from Arabic, suf, meaning wool. So I want us to know that aspect as well. A Sufi relates how the seed of Sufism was sown in the time of Adam, fermented in the time of Noah, budded in the time of Abram, and began to develop in the times of Yahshua, aka Jesus, and produced pure wine in the time of Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad and Jesus are revered as the greatest Sufis. Sufi masters like Ibn Arabi and Swardi studied Plato and Pythagoras, declaring that pagan sages to be Sufis. Remember another analogy or parable. I looked for him on the Christian cross, but he was not there. I went to the Hindu temples and shrines, but nothing. I visited the Kaaba in Mecca. I did not find him. I questioned learned scholars, but he outstripped their understanding. And finally, when I peered into my own heart, there and nowhere else was his home. Remember, in the 19th and the early 20th century, many Europeans and leading esotericists traveled to the Muslim East in search of ancient wisdom. Like Jocelyn Godwin, they call her a leading authority on the history of Western esotericism, and she explained a European. She said the initiate journey to Islamic soil has been a repeated theme of European esotericism ever since the Templars settled in Jerusalem and the mythical Christian Rosicrucian. Because our Moorish Quran is based on the Unto Thee I Grant, which is part of our Rosicrucian manual, which I teach at another date. Learned his trade in Damkar, which is Damascus. Remember on the road of Damascus? Remember on the road of Damascus. We find it in the lives of Periclesis and Cagliostro. Then, as travel became easier in the whole host, then you got the European P.V. Randolph and H.B. Blavatsky and Max Theon, G.I. Grudov, Alex Crowley. This all more science, but they package it in a different way to throw you off the breadcrumbs for you won't study it. Remember, in Egypt during the 1800s, Madame Blavatsky studied Sufism, Coptic Christianity, and the Druid order, which she described as the last survival of the archaic wisdom, claiming to be a student of her master, Serapis Bey. Serapis Bey. While in Cairo, Madame Blavatsky met Jamal ad-Din al-Afghani, an outstanding Muslim thinker, radical political leader, and Sufi teacher. She also traveled widely, often in Muslim dress, in the company of Albert Rawson, who later write an account of his initiation by the Druids for Blavatsky book, Isis Unveiled. Yeah, that's our Temple and School page as well. Rawson was one of the founders of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. Here we go again with the Europeans. Is modern. It's modern. You know, it's modern. It's all modern. Favorably about a Gnostic call for a new church of humanity. Another influential spiritual teacher who journeyed through Muslim land in search of hidden knowledge was George Ivanich Grudov. He spent much of his life in Central Asia, encountered Sufi brotherhood and learned of their texts, particularly the Wallet Garden of Truth. One of my brothers said, yeah, I'll send that to you. Let me write it down so I won't forget, man. I'll send it to all my muftis. I got it saved. And so, but while many people are familiar with Madame Blavatsky, this is what the European says. And G.I. Grudov, few are aware of the mystic teacher who is credited with laying the foundation for the spread of Islam amongst misnomer black people. Early in the 20th century, our prophet Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy Drew, the self-taught son of former black slaves, took a job as a merchant and seaman and found himself in Egypt. And then they go on with, with all the legends, but we have the documents to where we don't deal with just fake stuff. We deal with what we know. And they tell you that our prophet taught that. So as I get ready to close, I'll show y'all some books that I want to show y'all in history. When I break this down and show y'all, if y'all like the teachings, don't hesitate to give a small donation to Cash App $KG Bay. If you don't like the teachings, I wrote everybody's name down and I'll just block them because I don't get paid for this. I ask for donations to help our temple and school, and I'll give you documents. So I ask all my muftis, please, that's on my YouTube channel, please write everybody handle down. No disrespect, write everybody YouTube handle down. Please. Because if I wasn't saying anything good, why do brothers continue to come back? And then people, and I ask you, if you came to my temple and school, would you give a small donation for love? Yes. Well, don't hesitate. This is how we keep this stuff going. This is how we spread the wisdom. This is how I'm able to continue to convert books to PDF to give to all y'all for pennies of the dollar that Amazon sell for thousands of dollars. And we done made Jeff Bezos rich, and he don't help us do nothing. So one of the books I'm gonna break down is the Negro Question, the Black Pentecost. I'm just want to break an introduction down because I got a little time. We have an email. Well, I'll break that down in a whole nother teaching. But this is the thing. When I talk about first century history and first century religion, Noble Young, not a lot, but keeping you in mind, Noble. It's all good. I tell people when you give a little, I give a lot because I want to share all this before I'm done with this. For nobody can say I didn't share information, and I hope somebody take this information farther than I take it. Because I'm older than a lot of people. I'm an elder. I'm getting ready to be 48 in January. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm getting ready to go back home and teach in all synagogues and travel. I got my passport. I'm getting ready to be gone real soon. This is what I've been telling my muftis when I say I'm getting ready to be gone. You know, I still would do this in my spare time, but I'm building myself up to be gone. You know, that's all. But Europeans knew nothing about the feast of the Lord. When I talk about ancient historical things, but I just want to show y'all something about the YHWH in the Metanetter. The YHWH. When people talk about they read the Metanetter and all that, well, it don't take nobody no long time to know the YHWH is in the hieroglyphics, and these are all the signs and symbols that break down the YHWH. If you got the alphabet of anybody, you should be able to break it down. But I told you how a lot of brothers and sisters be lying. I done told y'all a plethora of times, you don't get mad at me, I'm a teacher. Most Freemasons, no disrespect to no one. They can get mad at me, they're not going to tell you nothing because it's just like a social club. They're not going to tell you the history of the feds. They're not going to tell you that the Bible says you go against oath. We don't take no oath. And they're not going to tell you 32 degrees is in meteorology when water freeze. That's snowman wisdom. They're not going to wear their fez in the crowd. It's a secret, and they call it clandestine. It's no disrespect to no one. There's no disrespect. No disrespect. You know? So, I just wanted to talk about that. And in history, you can see all the 12 dynasties. They got old and surviving pictures of Moses in people libraries and things. You know, I don't want to stay all into this, but they got all the information in these books. I don't want to stay too far in it, but I challenge you to get them. We have them all. We convert them to PDF. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on this, making Jeff Bezos rich. We got King Charles I of England, original pictures of King Charles I of England, all in here to show you certain things. So I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm not here to dispute nothing, but I challenge you to read and study. I did all this stuff. Oh, matter of fact, where the book? Let me see. It's right here. All this stuff I done lectured a plethora of times when you go back on my YouTube channel. So you see this picture right here. This is the two Augustins, Dolitans, and Maximum, two black Caesars. But look at this picture, and I'm gonna show you something. You see they cut off the nose. These are Moorish with their fez on. Watch, I show you in the book St. Mark of Basilica. Watch, I show y'all. Look at the picture. That's blew up. You see how they broke off their noses? You see the pictures. Look how they broke off their noses. Look at this. Look at this. Now watch this. I'm going to go right in St. Mark. I'm going to go right in here into this book right here and watch. Let me show you something. I'm about to show you something. When our own people lied to you. The European know what I'm talking about. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have graduated in academia with a dual master's degree in first century history and religion and linguistics. I wouldn't be a potentate to my European Mason brothers out here in Arizona. I showed y'all when you get time, my brothers and sisters, all you got to do is go on my YouTube channel and pull up how they remembered Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. And then the original film on YouTube, Google this, remembering Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. And he go to European right here, which is a Scottish Rite Mason, giving credit to Noble Drew Ali. And he laughing at misnomer black Masons and Al-Islam Muslims acting like they don't know who Noble Drew Ali is. He laughing at him. It's called Remembering Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. He gave all credit to our prophet. He gave all credit. And all of the books that I'm talking about, he referenced all these books. You see the European with the fez on? He referenced all these books. He represented all these books. You know? Right there. So I'm not here to argue with nobody. I know what happened, and I know our brothers and sisters that took an oath that's Freemasons and Prince Halls, and our empresses that's DAR, which is so-called Eastern Stars. They not gonna tell you nothing. Because they think you perverse. They even think their kids perverse. They can be mad at me if they want to, but I don't care. I don't care, you know? So, you see this right here? That's that same picture. These are the sculpture originated from Constantinople, the Tectorox, the Moorish, the 1st century Egypt art. You know? This is what I tell people. This is what I show people. You know? I just like to remove people off my page that just be talking. You know, no disrespect to no one. I just like to remove people because I don't have the energy for people just to be talking like they know so much. If they know so much, why would you come here and just talk and talk and talk? And I love all my brothers. We didn't do that in academia. When we was in that pseudo academia, we didn't question nothing. We don't go up to the schools where our kids being taught that they Negro, black, and colors. We don't go up to the schools and question the teachers that's teaching our kids false history. But when I come on here, Negroes and so-called Moors, they always got something to say, you know, and that's why I don't operate on that. This is my page. I control my page. I control how people deal with me. I just block you, and then I tell you go back and learn what you think you know from whoever. Don't mean nothing to me. So as I close, I'm gonna talk about stuff in 1st century, how scholars and scientists and historians are confused. The institutions have failed them. Their money failed them. They've been deceived by the Renaissance and blindness that has a hold on them. The shining of the light hurts the eyes, and they find shelter in the darkness. If you have read any of the books already, you know what it is. And all these books, I recommend you to get the series. I have them all. So let me break down a little introduction, how no scholar, no educator in 1st century had a problem with what I'm saying and telling the truth. Let me get a little water. You know, no disrespect. The brother Ben Bay always got something to say. And I say, man, are you here to learn or are you here to talk and tell somebody something? Because if that's the case, go do your own thing. And ain't no reason to come here. That's why I be telling people, have you ever been to lectures? I tell people to stay in context, but a lot of people be all acting like ADHD, want me to answer this, answer this, answer this. I'm not here to answer a whole bunch of questions. That ain't my plight. I'm teaching on specific subjects. If you ain't into what I'm into, all you got to do is get off the page. So the eyewitness period, the Irish priest, Saint Brendan, the navigator, Irish priest from Ireland, James Anderson in 1911, Riddles of the Prehistoric Times. It's the book. I hope y'all get it. This little black Welshman, Scott, Celt, settled in France, Gaunus of the Canary Islands, France, Ireland, Spain, and the British Islands, and all over Europe. Here go a picture of him. Here go a picture of him. So, Professor Winchell Alexander, Our Remote Ancestry. I'm quoting books. 1815 to 1900, collection of journals. The short black men came from Atlantis, Northern Africa, and they overran Europe. They were known as Britons. David McRitchie told you the ancient and modern Britons in volume 1 and volume 2. You know, Roman historian Tacitus, the origin of the Black Britons, the Iberians. When people talk about Anunnaki, no, the Iberians are black people with curly hair. Research Anthropological Review Society of London, volume 8. Joseph Ritson, Annals of Caledonia, the Pits and the Scots, volume 2, pages 7 and 27. The Pits, the Britons, are brown complexion with curly hair. Also, Ivan van Sertima, Ancient Presence in Early Europe. I have all these documents for us. I have a full library. That's why I don't be here to argue with no Moors that just be spun up at the mouth, just talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, what are you here for? And that's what we do. It be so much disrespect from our own kind. I don't get no disrespect. Negroes just be talking because they talk about what Noble Drew Ali said. Man, you was a Moor way before Noble Drew Ali. Abdul Hamid Solomon, Deuce Muhammad. I give credit to our prophet, but our prophet was inspired by men before him, just like Michael Jordan was inspired. Just like Dr. J was inspired. Just like Allen Iverson was inspired. How? And by who? By great men before him. You think Noble Drew Ali just came with this stuff and pulled it out his rear end? No. Come on, my brothers and sisters. That's why I said this not no Crips and Bloods with me. This ain't no gang banger street stuff. This ain't no I'm gonna rock with him because I like him. This ain't no politics picking the person that you like, and the person that you may like may not understand nothing. You just like them because they might have some money or because they do whatever you say. I'm not gonna do what nobody tell me because I can do without anybody. I'd rather wreck myself and my wife and my immediate people and all my muftis that's part of the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. I don't care what no Negro say or no so-called Moor. I ain't wasting my energy with that. Why? Because the Moor will kill you. These Negroes be gang banging over wisdom, over conscious stuff. They'll kill you. I've been separating myself from that crap. I'm an elder. Ivan Sertima, African Presence in Early Europe, page 225. And none of them brothers sisters go up to the schools, to the public schools, and question them teachers when the teachers tell them that their kids is slave and they African American, and they tell them that the color spectrum go from white to dark. You don't go and question none of that. They don't go to the schools and do nothing. They don't do nothing. They don't go to the parent teacher conferences, but they jump on here and act like they so smart. That's what's wrong with us, man. Ivan Van Sertima said the Britons look like the Ethiopians. Albert Churchward, 1920, earlier when I told y'all the book Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man, Origins and Evolutions, page 12 and 13. The Black Basque were exterminated from Europe. Professor Boyd Watkins, our earliest ancestors. The Bygone Days, a lecture delivered in the public hall, Cooley, Hurst, Manchester, in January the 8th, 1879. The ancient Britons, the Irish, the Scots are a short black people. It's on page 103 and 107. You know? And no, it ain't, it's the Iberian, the I with an I. Iberian, not the Alberian, the Iberian. Iberian, the Iberian, the Iberian. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go to the Greek restaurant and I'm gonna take pictures of it. And then the European, his name is Zachariah Stinchen. Research Zachariah Stinchen. And he talk about some Anunnaki. And they try to always talk about some alien and all this. And look at his attire. And then I start showing you how the attire, he a Moor. With his fez, with his braids, with his tunic, cotton or silk, with his sash, with his scimitar. But Dr. Thurman, Nature Journal of Science, page 92. From the evidence at hand, it seems that the Iberian, the black man, occupied the whole of the Western Europe at one time. Professor Huxley, 1870, the Iberian, the I-B-E-R-I-A-N, the I-B-E-R-I-A-N, Noble, the Iberian race. And I'm giving you reference to look these people up. I'm giving you peer-reviewed scholarly research. Professor Huxley, 1870, the Iberian race. Yep, I got about 10 more minutes. Yep. Page 332. The Iberian, the Bakis, the black bones have been found all over Europe with his animals. When you look up David MacRitchie, the ancient and modern Britons, look at all those pictures what David MacRitchie have in his book, The Ancient and Modern Britons. You will see. I got all the books for you for pennies. I have inserted the writings of 8. I just gave y'all 8 English, what we like to say white historians, to show you that our white brothers, Albion, Trallites, whatever you want to call them, who were closer to the epic center, didn't have a problem telling the truth about the original inhabitants of Europe. These Welshmen, Britons, Irishmen, Frenchmen, Russians, Germans, Italians, and Swedes were in Europe thousands of years before the English arrived in 490 and 449 AD. And this will be proven by the writings of Professor Dory Watkins, professor of geology at Manchester University, London. When a lot of people out Islam Muslims and they try to tell you that your black name is a slave name, that's your family crest and your coat of arms. I tell you, research your last name and Google your family crest and your coat of arms. So say if your last name is a Moor, research the Moor family crest and a coat of arms. If your last name Youngblood, research the Youngblood family crest and coat of arms, and I'll show you how, no disrespect, the European named themselves after you. No disrespect. And then I start having my European colleagues get on here, my professors, and be like, yeah, he's been teaching y'all this. What are we talking about? Professor Boyd Watkins was invited to speak in public hall in Manchester, London, January 18th, 1879. In his lecture, he gives a detailed account of the people who originally inhabited Europe. And without blushing, this is what he said. Professor Boyd Watkins, you know, Professor Boyd Watkins, professor of geology, Manchester University, London, 1879. Our remote ancestry, page 95 to 106. And I quote, exactly. I keep telling people, but your family was there in the Netherlands when you research Swarty Pyatt or Black Pete in the Netherlands. I keep telling people, it's like, dude, I ain't here to try to be biased or nothing. All Europeans know this. When you go to the Netherlands, research the Corsica flag and tell me what you get. Pull up the Corsica flag and tell me what you get. I bet you're going to get a flag with the Moorish head on it with the bandana. I guarantee you. So, the original people of Britain, France, Spain, and England were short black men of about 5 feet 6 inches in height. They were in England when our fathers, the white English, invaded the land in 449 AD. Our fathers were a warlike people who by 607 AD pushed the Basques west into Wales, Cumberland, Westmoreland, the Highlands of Scotland, and Devon. These black people boast that they were citizens of the Roman Empire. The Welsh, or the ancient Britons, were in possession before the Romans ever came here. These black Basque Britons have brought the knowledge of iron and brass with them. The iron and brass technology will be proven perfectly when I show you the German tapestry. These people were herdsmen. They possessed the short horned ox, the horned sheep, the goat, the pig, the horse. Evidence of their civilization can be seen all over the continent in Europe, as well as throughout the British Islands, extending far as Germany, Switzerland, and even to France and Spain. These black people originated from Iberian Peninsula and are a fragment of the old Spanish population. They were in French, Spain, Ireland, Britain, and Scotland. One of the techniques that I like to employ when detailing this research is to try to get as close to the point of the event as I can. And in the case of Professor Boyd was right there. And he mentioned seeing the specimen of black Basque from different parts of Europe and states that if you laid them next to each other, you would not be able to tell one corpse from another. And the purpose of this section of the book is to prove in the beginning that the historians of the 18th and the 19th century had no problem describing the blackness of the early Europeans. Benjamin Franklin, Professor Boyd Dawkins, and Albert Churchward gave us eyewitness account of the world order in the generation. Dr. Albert Churchward's eyewitness account gives us a grim description of what happened to the black presence in Europe. The good doctor stated that the blacks came exterminated by the time he had given his lecture in 1912 to the Royal Society in London. It is of extreme importance that we begin this discussion with the eyewitness accounts of the English historians concerning the old world order. It has become obvious to me in my research that the ancient, medieval, and early 20th century historians, because that's where your history is, in the medieval times and the Dark Ages and the antebellum times, were describing the old world order in a respective generation. And these historians describe a world in which blacks were in power all over the earth. And from the vantage point, we shall spring forward into the future to see the secrets of the past. Here go, I'll show y'all an image of the Scottish King of England. The image is located in the New College Library. This is of the Black King James, right here. There go the Black King James. It's in the doctoral libraries. It's in the doctoral libraries. And most of the Europeans have this stuff in their private libraries for you can't see it. I've been to all these places. Here go King Charles I of the Scots of England. It's located in the book of Leviathan. The author is Thomas Hobbes. It's a book called the Book of Leviathan. The author is Thomas Hobbes. I got all these books. I had to lecture this in college. I got a standing ovation. You know, here go a picture of him. There go a picture of the brother right there for you to see. For you to see. I got so many. The Scottish King Alexander II, 1198. Look at the brother. Look at the brother. Look at the brother. Look at the brother. So I got so much to go. I got so much. It's a book called Oliver Cromwell, The New Perspective. Get that book of Oliver Cromwell, and you will see what they did to all those ancient blacks in Europe. You will see what Oliver Cromwell did. And then here goes King Charles II, Kings of the Scots. He kind of looked like George Jefferson. They got all this stuff locked up in their libraries and in the doctoral libraries and in the Royal Archives. They got all these pictures. I got them all. I got all the original documents in color. In color. Remember when I tell you about your coat of crest? I mean your family crest and your coat of arms. Where I do with that picture? Because I'm about to done. Here go the Irish coat of arms, family crest, right here. That's Gilbert. I got a lot of people that last name Gilbert. There you go, right there. They named themselves after you. Your last name is not no slave name. If you think that, then I'm sorry. If we're dealing with people that don't know history and not educated. The Irish and the Scots are the same people. The Scots are a tribe from Northeast Ireland. I even got books showing you the little kids, copper color, all copper color. So when people be coming with that false history and just talking, I don't have no time for that. I don't have no time for that. I'm not going to deal with none of my people being disrespectful on my page. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to block you. A lot of this stuff is in the library. So I'm about to end because my time is up. But it's so much stuff. It's 3 volumes of this book. I just walked through a little bit. I ain't even touched this book. But it's all in there, you know? Yep. All you got to do is Google it. Google the Young Family Crest. Google it. Google it. Say the Young Coat of Arms. I show people how to research, because me just telling you something is not going to mean nothing to you. I show you how to research and find it for yourself. That's what a good mapping guide do. So all you got to do is Google and on your phone, the Young Family Crest Coat of Arms, and it'll pop up. I show you, and listen, I'll show you in Empress Gossett L. Bay book. I show you how they change Tunic to Turner and Washita to Washington. That's from a lack of knowledge. But I'm not here to argue with no one. It's in the Ancient One book. It's in the Ancient One's book. It's in the history. So I tell everybody, don't listen to me. Do the research. Because I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm not here to argue with no one. I'm here to spread light. So I'm done, man. I've been going for 2 hours. I love everybody. I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm not here to debate none of my brothers and sisters, because there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to debate. I challenge you to study. Maybe tomorrow I'll jump in the Exhumed of the Nation. Once again, and I deal with one of the chapters, the Freemasonry and Illuminati, and I'll show you how a lot of your brothers that's Freemasons sold you out. All you got to do is pull up Steve Coakley, and he tell you how the Greek is a fraud, and he'll tell you about how they took the oath. And he talk about all those Masonic groups. Pull up Steve Coakley on YouTube, you know? And so the masonry that I'm talking about is not Freemasonry. It's not Western Freemasonry. You know, that ain't what I'm talking about. So I don't have, like I said, I give y'all honor, I give y'all love, but the only people that's going to lie to you and then package it up as the truth is your own brother. Your own brother, the Freemason. The Al-Islam Muslims that are going to promulgate that black stuff and operate under those black Christian codes. Research the black Christian codes and then have a conversation with me. These people are separating themselves because they look at the rest of the world as perverse. And that you'll never see a Freemason wearing the fez in regular time. They wear it in secrecy. And I guarantee you their knowledge is only a tittle. It's only snowman wisdom. They can get on here and be mad if they want to, but I'll start showing you everything. Even the empresses that wear the white fez with the gold castle that call themselves the Eastern Stars. And they under the DAR, which is Daughters of American Revolution, that came with that marriage license. That ain't nothing but a civil contract. They know I'm telling the truth. They know I'm telling the truth. All that fictitious name, that Prince Hall, all that stuff is fictitious. And they can be mad all they want to, but it don't matter to me, you know. So I give y'all love, I give y'all honor, and thank everybody for sending donations in. If you need anything, all you got to do is ask me. I give y'all my email. It's Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. I will share everything with you for pennies. I will build your whole library for you. I will build your whole library. So not only you can teach yourself what you found late and discovered late, you can teach that to your kid early. So they can know and they can build themselves up. And they don't have to join no Greek fraternities, or they don't have to be no Freemason, or they don't have to do things that they're going to have to peel all that stuff off of them once they start being introduced to information. When you ask, what about this? What about this? What about this? Because a lot of people are not going to tell you. I'm here to share everything that I know, and I'll give my life for what I believe in. I fear no one. You know, I live like a dead man already. I told everybody, once my baby brother was murdered, killed Jelani Goodman Bay in Flint, Michigan, by a Negro that looked like me, I already started living as a man that's dead. You know, I don't get disrespect from Europeans. Only disrespect comes from people that look like me, you know, because I operate in peace. That's why I left my city of Flint, Michigan. All my friends was killed. You know, a lot of my friends killed. I don't have enough hands and feet to count all my close friends and family members that was murdered by people that look like us. Didn't no European come in our community and kill us. When my best friend Marlon Gaville was killed, he was killed by a misnomer black cop. When my cousin Miguel Swain was killed, he was killed by a brother in our neighborhood, and everybody act like they don't know. My brother was killed by a Negro. Everybody that I know was killed by our own kind. So when people say the European is the enemy, yeah, I hear you to a certain degree. I hear you to a certain degree, but in our communities, we the only one killing each other. It ain't no European cops in my city of Flint, Michigan. We the only ones that gang bang on religion. Oh, I'm this, we'll kill you. We the only group of brothers that hate each other. We the only group of brothers that won't come together, and you know your aptitude is minuscule. A brother that dropped out of school in the 3rd grade, what can you teach me? Because you watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and you got a whole bunch of black law dictionaries that ain't nothing but law terms, dictionary terms. You can't teach me nothing. No disrespect. I lecture professors. I went to academia, and I'm a part of houses, intellectual people. I deal with dignitaries. I tutor kids to graduate in college. If your kid was going to college, which I ask every morning, what you want your kid to do? I want my kid to get a good education and do all that. I bet you'll want me to be their tutor. And I bet you if they were struggling in high school, and especially college, I bet you after they deal with me, they'll be like, Dad, why you ain't introduce me to this teacher? I guarantee you that. We the only group of people that don't look at ourselves in the mirror and see God's. And when you see me, you see your brother, because you don't see that in yourself. That's the only disrespect I get. I get it from Negroes. I'm in Arizona, which is everybody say a red state. My empress will tell you I get no disrespect from no Europeans since I've been out here since 2012. They tell me peace, Rabbi, peace, Melchizedek, peace, sheep, speak, peace, shaman. I love your national headdress. I love your religious headdress. I go to their churches and synagogues, dressed just like this. When I go back home to Flint, Michigan, Negroes be, oh, that means you a Muslim. When they see me in my turban, oh, you a Muslim. No, I'm not that type. I'm a Muslim. The turban was worn by the followers of Yahshua. The turban with the jewel on it was worn by the high priest. Read your Bible. Google it. All you got to do is Google shirts. Say, what did the turbans was worn in the Bible by the high priest? Yes, the turban with the jewel on it. Researching your Bible, the kufi is called a bonnet, and the followers of Yahshua wore a bonnet. If you got a lexicon, a Hebrew lexicon, when they talk about the attire of the high priest, the tunic, cotton or silk, with the sash on it, with the embroidery, all in your biblical scripture. But I know most of our brothers and sisters don't study. We act like Crips and Bloods. And a lot of our brothers have a low aptitude. And a lot of our brothers frown on education. And they all work low income jobs. And they all work with their hands. But I'm an intellectual. I don't have to work hard with my hands. My brain brings finance to me. I don't work hard. I work smart. I wouldn't educate myself. I'm a teacher, you know? So that's what I tell each other and all my brothers and sisters on this internet. I don't respect nobody that's watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and asked me a whole bunch of crazy questions and try to just ask me stuff. You know, that ain't what I'm into. Go up to the school that they miseducating your kid and talk to those misnomer black teachers. Go to the African-American department and ask them why they teaching you that you Negro, black, and colored and African-American. And research the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. Research the Declaration of Human Rights. Research manumissions. Research the House during Resolution 75. Research the SF 181 form. Research white by law. You know, but we're not going to do that. What we do is get on this internet and I want to throw darts at your brother that'll educate you and can go in any religious house and in any academia house. And I guarantee you I can rest my case with no rebuttal because I come from peer-reviewed scholarly research. And any religious person that put black in front of their stuff, according to science and law, black is dead. A black Muslim, a black Mason, a black Christian, a black Moor, all that stuff synonymous to slave because black is an adjective. And our own people lying to you. Especially our brothers and sisters, that's Masons that like to just dress up in their pageantry, but not gonna say nothing. I don't have no respect for that. I don't. I love everyone, man, and I give all y'all honor, peace, light, and illumination. Empress!